Welcome to One More Game, presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I'm your host, Matt Brandenberger, alongside my super cool wife, Abby.
Why am I super cool?
Let me tell you why you're super cool. I was actually having a text conversation with somebody, and they'll rename nameless. I don't want to remain nameless, not rename nameless.
It's all right.
Close enough. And I just made the comment that you were super cool. Just talking about just drama. There's lots of drama in pickleball.
There sure is.
Yeah.
We were talking about that today.
Yeah. I'm not a sexist, but
it's women.
There seems to be a gender where there's more drama with. I think that goes all the way up to the MLP level. So
for sure. And it starts at age 2.
Yeah. And
we have 5 daughters.
Yeah, the comment was just made that you are super cool. And I said, she is.
Thank you for recognizing that, everybody.
Yeah. So probably not everybody who listens to this will agree with that. Some people would call Abby drama, but
that's okay. We all have our moments. I can be dramatic,
for sure. But I do appreciate you in many ways. We won't give specific ways.
You're so sweet.
But yeah, for sure, you are super cool. So it's been a super busy week. We had a great weekend.
Oh, what a great weekend.
Yeah. So we were down in Indianapolis, which is about 2 hours from where we're at in Fort Wayne, for the state finals. The school that our girls go to and that I graduated from has now won 3 of the last 5 state titles. They've kind of gone up a couple divisions as well. So, but they had an amazing game. The other
that was amazing.
It was. It gave me chills. I had tears running down my eyes. Yeah. Just the story. I mean, we won't get into it too much, but just one of the most amazing men that we've ever known was the coach who passed away last year, almost a year ago in May. And Matt Roth took over this year, and
former IU basketball player.
Yep. And also a great guy. We'll be down on the beach with him next week in Florida for spring break, and just love Matt as well. And he led those guys so well. They came back. They were down. This game, of their 3 state titles they've had, this was by far the closest one.
Yeah.
The others they kind of ran away with. But man, it was what a fun day that was, celebrating with the whole school. The girls were excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. Like, none of these are my kids, and I am just all in. Can you even imagine when it's our kids?
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be a disaster.
I can't imagine. Yeah. Well, yeah, and just, sports in general, it's the best of times, the worst of times. It can be heartbreaking. I felt bad for those kids from the other school who made it all the way, probably thought they had it, even into the third quarter.
And they've had some hard times on their team.
They have as well. So, but it was a great victory. Super happy about that. And then we went over to Ohio. Abby played in a event, kind of a ladies mixer, and you got to play with a lot of new women.
Yeah,
so
it was really fun. They, women in this area, there's just not a ton of us.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably true of a lot of places. There's just not a ton of women, so you play the same women all the time, which is fine, but you just get to know them. You get to know like the things they do.
Sure.
So it's just really fun to play people with different skill sets and how to figure them out.
Yeah. And so that's always kind of the challenge to get that higher level play. You have to sometimes go a little further. But your family being from Ohio, it just worked out perfect to spend some time with your family, and you got to play in that event. So
that was a really
lot
fun
of fun.
deal.
And you got third.
We did, and it was a 4-5 plus event, so there was several 5-0 teams, and
it honestly wasn't the best I've seen you guys play.
I hit a lot of thirds in the net.
Yeah, the fact that you guys got third was pretty impressive. Yeah, really, with the level of competition, but always a good experience.
Yeah, I've played better in my life, but we still eked it out. So.
Yeah. So story-wise, we usually like to have a couple family stories.
Now I feel really bad because here you're like, Abby's the best.
So
and now
cool.
I'm going to tell you stories about Matt.
Right. You've got a couple.
That I don't understand.
I'm very self-deprecating, so I will enjoy these, and these were pretty funny. Maybe I need more sleep. I don't know.
I'm going to go with that because let me say, Matt is a very intelligent person.
I've had a couple very blonde moments. That just hurt some people's feelings out there.
Not mine.
No,
it's fine. So I'll start with the story from last night. I'm helping the 9-year-old with a gravestone. She has to do Anne Frank's gravestone, right?
Okay, it's like a social studies assignment.
A social studies project. Yep. We're working on it, and Matt is signing up our younger two for the Y soccer. And the reason we picked the younger two is because at that level, they could be on the same team. It was first and second graders together, pre-K and K together. And so I had said, let's do Ellie and Parker. So Matt's filling out t-shirt sizes and all this stuff. And Matt all of a sudden looks at me and is like, I'm telling you, you were annoyed at me. You're like, what are we going to do? Am I supposed to just level Ellie up?
Okay. That's a little exaggeration. I was not like that annoyed. If I was annoyed, it was not to that extent.
Okay. Let's tone that down a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Are we just going to level Ellie up? And I was like, no. She'll be with Parker. And Matt's like, but pre-K and K are together.
Yeah.
And I said,
in first and second, or second and third.
No, you said first and second.
Yeah. Oh, is that what I said?
Yeah. And I was like, I know. And they're in first and second. And Matt's like, wait, what? Ellie, what grade are you in? She's like, Dad, I'm in first.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
you literally did not know that our youngest child was in first grade, and it's March.
Here's my defense.
It's the end of March.
Here's my defense. She's tiny.
She is tiny.
That's number one. Number two, I knew they were consecutive years. All of these years are running together. And I thought it was kindergarten, 1, 2, and 3. First and second. Yeah. It's actually news to me. It's first, second, and third. So, yeah, I just.
So the whole family is there cracking up that Matt doesn't know the grade our children are in.
Yeah, the girls really loved that. And you did too. I didn't think it was that funny, but I don't know.
It was pretty funny.
So here's the other story. I'll tell it.
I don't know that I understand what was going on in your mind.
I don't either, but I have a connection to another story that maybe will help you understand. So we were talking. We're actually going to be putting out some T-shirts.
Yeah, we were designing T-shirts in the car on the way to
Indy. We were talking about them, and we've seen friends who play tennis have like ones that say love, and the tennis ball is in the middle of it for the O.
In what letter?
For the O.
Okay.
This
I don't even understand.
As a teacher especially, and for my teacher friends out there, we've been doing a lot of like Orton Gillingham stuff. So this is I don't know if that's an excuse. This should not be. Maybe it is. Yeah, you'll understand maybe in a second. So we're talking about this, and I said, well, what about instead of the tennis ball, we do like a pickleball? And I said, and you make it like a heart. And did I say instead of the A, or what did I say?
You said, I know. I know this would be weird because it'd be love. Yeah. And I was like,
I said, but let's make the O like a pickleball, and then I said, but I know that'll be loave, and you're like, loave?
Like, what word are we trying to spell?
I don't. I need more sleep.
You said
I don't know.
You said it like 2 or 3 times.
At least 2 times.
And finally, I was like, L-O-V-E, Matt.
Is love. So here's the connection. Remember when we had the friends who were adopting, and they had one that said hope, but they wanted a triangle in the middle of it.
As the O.
As the O. So it was a triangle in place of the O. And I always thought that T-shirt was weird.
Because it said hape.
Sorry, Jordan, if you're listening. Because it said hape. And I'm like, hey, I'm wearing this T-shirt around that people are like, hape. Because a triangle is an A, not an O.
Right,
and so I think maybe that was in the back of my brain. I'm grasping at straws.
That is reaching, babe. That's reaching.
Okay, I'll just go to bed earlier and call it a day.
I think those are really funny, though. Like, it needs to be spring break. I think that's really our takeaway.
There you go. Yep.
We need to go to Florida next week.
Let's do it. I need some sunshine.
Speaking of that, I do have to tell a quick Eleanor story this morning. I already texted you this story.
Okay.
Eleanor goes out to the garage as I'm taking him to school, and she sees like we're starting the processes of getting out all the stuff, and they're sitting on the garage floor, and she's like, "Are we going to Florida? Is Matt Carpenter coming?" Because he's our buddy.
That is awesome. Is our buddy Matt Carpenter coming? I told him too. I said, man, I'd love for you to come.
Seriously, then I don't have to drive.
Right. There's an extra driver, an extra person to buy us ice cream. He's really good at that.
He's excellent at that.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into some pickleball talk. We kind of started, I don't know if we want to call it a series, but last week we talked about how to handle spin.
And this is inspired by the beginner and intermediate clinics that I've been putting on in various places, New Haven, Decatur, and these are my top 3 questions. So we addressed how to handle spin, specifically the slice. Today, we're going to address question number 2.
Yes, we're going to talk about the lob. How do you handle a lobber? So lots of discussion that we can have regarding this topic, but I think I want to start with how do we prevent a lob? And
This is hard.
yeah, the basic answer is you're not going to be able to prevent it all of the time, but what steps can I take if I want to prevent somebody from lobbing me all the time? What can I try to do? How can I work the ball to make it hardest on my opponent to throw up a lob? So what's the first thing you would say?
The first thing I would say is hitting it. So if they're right-handed, hitting it to their left foot, even a little back, like to their left heel on the inside or outside. That is really hard to dig out and lob.
Yep. And just kind of think
Even
about
if
that.
they're mid-court. I mean, I don't care where they are on the court.
Yeah.
Dinking, mid-court, that backhand far back is a hard shot to lob.
So they're either going to have to lob with their backhand, which people are going to be less inclined to do and maybe not have as much control with, or they're going to have to reach across their body and scoop it up. So that's a good place to aim. In general, that's a good place to aim.
Absolutely.
You know, lobs or not, that's probably the hardest shot to hit back, is aiming at that left heel or the opposite heel of what hand they use. So that's a good one. How about just in general, kind of thinking most lobs come up from a dinking position. You're dinking around back and forth, and I would say avoid dead dinks.
Yeah.
So the better you get at dinking, and the more you're pushing your dinks, and the more you're putting pressure on your opponent, the harder it is going to be for them to throw a lob up there. If you just are doing, we call a dead dink, for those of you that don't know, one that's just a real like loopy, it's a dink, it lands in the kitchen, but there's not any real pace to it. It's just kind of gets over, and it makes it real easy for them to then lob you.
I mean, that's a ball that you can do multiple things with. You can drive up the line, you can drive cross court, you can lob it.
Yep.
Excuse me.
So using the dink to your advantage, again, like one of the best ways you can improve your pickleball game is to get better at dinking, getting that ball closer to the net, that leave a little bit of margin for error, but push those dinks a little bit more, and you'll make it harder on your opponents to throw up lobs. So how else can you prevent a lob? I would say by anticipating. When somebody sees that you're kind of looking for the lob. If I play against somebody that I know is going to lob, I'm not always just kind of in that down position, ready for the speed up, but I might even kind of be taking a step back or leaning back a little bit. So if they lob it, I might be able to catch it on the rise. So that can kind of help you maybe show that you're ready for their lob, and that might kind of prevent them from wanting to lob it as much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as you play more and more, you get to see balls your opponents even maybe should lob, and so you're ready for that because that's a ball to lob. And then they don't, which is great, but if they do, you're ahead of the game.
Yep, for sure. And then another thing I would throw in there is being attacking with the lob. When somebody does throw one up, make them pay for it when you can.
Yeah.
The more you can be an aggressor on an overhead, then, if they throw up a perfect lob and it lands on the back line, you're not going to be able to do much with that. And we'll kind of get into some of those other things in a little bit. But when they do throw up a lob that is not a great one, punish them for it. Don't just kind of tap it back and go back into the dink game, but, slam that overhead and make them, think twice before they do that again. So staying aggressive with that is definitely a good way to help prevent the lob.
Yeah, I play with several people who lob, and I started lobbing them back, and that was effective. Yeah,
that's another good way to prevent it. Lob the lobber,
Lob
right?
the lobber.
Yeah.
Or also, if there's a team who one person is more of the lobber, and you just don't like lobs, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just don't hit it to that person.
Right. Yeah,
that's also okay.
Avoid the lobber by playing it to their partner.
Right.
For sure. And don't get us wrong, it's a good weapon.
It is. I use it.
We're going to talk about in a little bit like how you can become a lobber, or you can look for more ways to lob. So we're not, dissing on lobbers, but it can be an effective weapon for sure, and you want to make sure that you're ready to counter it. Anything else lob-wise? How to prevent a lob?
No, we nailed it.
I think we nailed it, yeah. Let's take a commercial break. Let's come back and let's talk more lobs on one more game. We'll be right back. Come join the fun at pickleballrocks.com, your trusted authority when it comes to all your pickleball needs. Apparel, paddles, bags, hats, you name it, you'll find it there. Family owned and operated for nearly 15 years.
Matt and I are growth pros for Pickleball Rocks, and for being a loyal listener of the One More Game podcast, we can offer you a 15% discount at checkout when you use the code MATTB15. So head over to pickleballrocks.com and check it out. Let's play.
All right, welcome back to One More Game, presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I'm your host, Matt Brandenberger, and you're still cool, even after you're making fun of me in the beginning of this episode.
I'm sorry.
Still cool wife, Abby. So we're talking about lobs. We talked kind of in the first segment about how to prevent people from lobbing you, but inevitably it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
even if you hit a perfect shot,
absolutely.
I mean, people are going to Hail Mary it.
Yeah,
so
for sure. So what to do when you're lobbed? Mm-hmm. First thing you said was accept it.
Yeah, there's just a population segment that I just don't think that you want to try to get a lob if they're that far back. If you can overhead it, please do. But who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like that 75-year-old person who is doing amazing being on the pickleball court, and I'm so proud of them, but doesn't have the mobility to combat a lob. Just accept that they lobbed it, and it's a good point.
And don't even chase it down, you're saying? Give up?
I am saying that.
Okay.
You know who you are, though. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
we're talking not
me and not you.
Don't hurt yourself going after a lob.
That's what I'm saying.
And on the other side of that, you're very passionate about this. That
I am.
Some people drive you nuts when they're lobbing
I'm saying,
an immobile person.
Yes, I think there's some etiquette involved with I'm on the court with a 75-year-old man, and he is the one that's getting lobbed 3, 4, and 5 times.
Right.
Like, really?
Right.
There's just some, and you guys may disagree with me, and I don't care.
Yeah. And I disagree with you to the extent of if it's a competitive situation. Like
if it's a tournament, lob him all day.
Right.
I'm talking.
Yeah. You're out playing rec play. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like when I first started playing, I'd hear a lot like, oh, you don't lob a girl. That's like, that's not cool.
Oh,
it's like,
you can lob me.
I can lob you all day. You're not going to get annoyed.
No, because I'll get it back.
Just don't short serve you. That was
Don't run me into a fence.
Oh, don't run me into a fence. Did we unpack that on the podcast at all?
We've talked about it enough, I think.
Okay. We didn't want to air our dirty laundry. That was a legit fight we had.
It was.
Yeah.
There are certain topics. Anyway.
Yeah. So I do agree with you, and especially when it's over and over. Like, what are you trying to prove?
Exactly.
If you're lobbing somebody over and over who clearly has mobility issues, and it's not even just an age thing. Sometimes maybe they're hurt. They have a busted ankle.
And if it's a tournament, I will lob you with your busted ankle.
Right.
But if it is at the park, I'm not going to. I mean, even excuse me, on Sunday playing in our round robin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We played against the most amazing, probably 75-year-old I have
okay. That's where you're going.
ever come across.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Is she 75?
Yeah. Kathy White, I believe is her name.
Unbelievable player.
She's awesome.
I'm sorry we targeted her. Like, my niceness does have an end.
Right.
Like, we targeted her, we lobbed her, we made her move. We wore her out.
Which I'm saying this not knowing exactly who her partner is, but I'm not sure if that was the right play. I mean, you guys did end up winning, so you knew what you're doing. But but she's really good. I mean, it's not like targeting her was. Oh,
no. Yeah. We were down 0-10.
Yeah.
And we came back and won.
You just wanted to tell that.
I did. Sorry.
I'm taking away the cool tag.
Listen, it's embarrassing to be down 0-10 in any game.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is not like a source of pride.
And it was like
right
multiple times you were down 0-10.
Yes.
You did come back a couple times.
And we came back several times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We were slow starters.
Maybe need to work on those starts. I don't know. All right, so back to lobbing.
Anyway.
We said, number 1, accept it. Number 2, we said you don't have to take it out of the air. So,
unless it is a gimme.
Yeah. But it's best to. Let me throw that in
I
there.
agree with you.
Yeah. But don't flail at it wildly.
Don't accept a crappy overhead if you don't have to.
Yeah. Because a lot of times that crappy overhead will sail out of bounds.
Or in the net,
Yeah.
or it tips off the end of your
So if they hit
paddle.
if they hit a perfect lob and you have the mobility, run back.
Mm-hmm.
We're just, we talk about those 4 phases of the pickleball
Yeah.
game. They've just reset it basically to phase 2, and you got to struggle back up
And
to
I
the net.
think you drop it.
Yep, absolutely, you
Yeah.
drop it because both of them
Ex-
are up there.
Exactly.
Yep.
So even today, I had a great. It was a beautiful lob, and I had to run back and just dropped it right over the net. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
my partner and I were back in it, and
Yeah.
I believe we won that point, and it was amazing.
And from a psychological standpoint, it's if they hit a perfect lob,
Right.
and then you hit another great third, and you get back to neutral, I feel like it's advantaged you that you've kind of
Right.
overcome their.
And they're like, "Well, this isn't
Yeah.
as effective as it typically is."
Exactly, it might prevent them from lobbing back to that.
Yeah,
earlier
and
point.
even talking about switching, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so I had down that you like who should hit it. So the ball goes up. Well, the person who is stronger, I would say, who has the better
Right.
overhead, who's going to be able to, take the overhead and hit it hard on the forehand side, probably
Yeah.
should take it.
I tend to get out of the way for my male partners because
Yeah.
every male partner I have is going to have a better overhead than I will. It just is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know of a man that I play with that I'm stronger than.
Right. If they can get to their forehand, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I would
But if
say,
you're on the left side,
Yeah.
most of the court is your
yeah.
forehand.
But
So
that goes back to, like you were kind of saying, sometimes you're going to switch on that, right? So
Right.
if I'm the male and I'm on the right side and they lob to the back left corner, then I might run that down if
Right.
that's kind of what we've talked about.
Right.
Communication even ahead of time. Like,
Yep.
okay, you've got the lobs. This team likes to lob a lot, or this guy likes to lob a lot. So watch. You watch for it, and you get them by default, right? That does help. But then that would be a natural time to switch,
Yeah.
then, right? So
yeah, I think that's a good thing to communicate
Yep.
with your partner.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, you said don't be afraid to switch, and sometimes it's going to be advantageous for you to switch. Sometimes it's not. So again, how do you know? Playing with people more, you kind of get the feel for what you're going to do, but you also have to communicate.
Yeah.
So such a key to that. Anything else? What to do when lobbed? You want to obviously make sure that your overhead, kind of the technique with that. Maybe just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, not the back pedaling. Are you
Right.
saying the pivot
You
on
really
your
want to turn your shoulders.
and sidestep?
Yeah, it's a very Tennessee thing that I'm honestly am not great at.
Yeah, we could drill that probably.
Yeah, I tend to shuffle back, but your first move should be to kind of drop, like for a
Drops.
right-handed player, you drop your right foot so that you're kind of facing perpendicular to the court, and then you're shuffling laterally back.
Yeah.
A lot of people teach to point at the ball. Then that kind of gets your head up, and you're ready to kind of unload on that. when you're
And
hitting
it
the
brings
overhead.
in your entire core. It brings
Yep.
in more power because now you can use your entire core and your shoulders
Yep.
instead of just one arm.
Yeah, which is like in tennis, right? You hit that every time you serve. That's like a normal,
Yeah.
muscle memory that you have. But for pickleball players who don't have a tennis background, that's
Yeah.
kind of an awkward movement. It's not
Yeah.
a typical pickleball. Or if you're a volleyball player.
I was going to say it's good for, like, you can see the volleyball players
Oh, yeah.
in their overheads.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So interesting how people bring their different sports to the game, and you can see their strengths in that. So, okay, well, that's good for what to do when lobs. Now, let's kind of go to the other side of things, and let's say, how can you become a better lobber? What are the things that you can do, kind of to make this maybe a part of your game? And it is, especially at the higher levels, you're seeing it with the pros more, is they'll throw up some lobs from time to time to just kind of, throw off the other team and get them out of rhythm. It's a good strategy. So looking for, I would say first, dead dinks. So when somebody does give you a dink that maybe is not quite drivable, it's always a good idea to push the dink back to them. I like to take dead dinks and do that. But every once in a while, throw up a lob.
Right.
And that can kind of give the opponent something new to think about,
Yeah.
especially if you see that they're struggling maybe with their third shots or their transition. And so you want to get them off the line and have them kind of have to struggle to get back up to it.
And so if you're on the right side, I mean, I prefer to lob opposite corner just for math's sake. That's my longest point.
Yeah.
And so I have a better chance of it going in.
Yeah.
So I want to miss the person in front of me's forehand. But if that's my caddy corner, my cross court player, that's that person's backhand.
Yeah.
So that's where I like to lob.
Yeah. I like that talking about, that's a good point about cross court. So if you're at the kitchen line, we'll do a little math here. If you're at the kitchen line, it's 22 plus 7, so it's 29 feet straight to the back line, straight in front of you. But if you would go at an angle there, you know, I'm not going to get out my Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
We'll add probably at least 5 or 6 feet to that.
Yeah.
So you're giving yourself a lot more margin for error. So lobbing cross court, I think, is good. As a left-handed player,
left-sided
player, I'm not left-handed. That's a great one because it's the person in front of me. It's over their backside, their backhand side, and hopefully I've hit it high enough that it's gotten over the left-sided player's forehand. So I've got to just make sure I clear that.
Yeah.
So another thing I wrote down here is something that I do a lot, but very ineffectively, and that is use it as a bailout.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I get pushed so far wide, instead of just doing like a reset dink, I'll throw a lob up.
Yeah.
Now, if you do that, the mistake I make a lot is not going as far cross court as I should.
Or as high.
Or as high as I should. And we'll talk about technique here in a minute. But then that, you know, it just gives them an easy overhead. And I can't tell you how many times I've done that where it's like, I'm kind of stuck, and so I throw up this lob, and it's a crappy lob.
Yeah, but I feel like it's the right choice. It's the right choice in the moment.
It is if it's executed well. And I just don't, I feel like I need more work on the execution. What I would teach, or what I would tell you if I saw you do that is just don't try to do too much with that.
Yeah.
Just reset that dink to the middle and keep us in the dink game rather than giving them an easy put away.
Yeah.
But, so let's maybe talk technique a little bit. Give me a couple things.
I think the biggest thing, and I'm not even sure that I know how to do this well, but is to not make your body movement any different.
Disguise it, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a hip forward game anyways, right?
Right.
But I can usually tell if somebody's gonna lob because they take a bigger swing,
right,
and I can see it coming.
Yep.
So don't take a bigger swing.
Same as if they're going to hit a speed up or a hard ball like that. So
yeah, I even have a friend who I can see unweights one of his legs, and I know it's coming.
Really, that's interesting. Yeah, people have some tells like that. So doing your best to not telegraph it, and I would even say if you're practicing that or drilling it, you know, drill. I've done this before where I've just dink after dink after dink, and then I try to do the exact same motion, but then a little more pop just at the end. So you're showing the same dink, and then it's just a little more wrist action to pop that ball up.
Yeah.
So that's good. Don't telegraph it. It's still a low to high. I mean, that's how you're going to get the height on the ball, because that really is the key, is to hit it high enough to get over. So if you're going to miss a lob, you want to make sure, if you're going to miss a lob, you want to miss it high, right? Now, when I say high, I don't mean long, but it's better to hit a moon ball that goes 25 feet in the air, even if it only lands halfway back, than to, you know, not hit it high enough. And we've all had lobs before that don't even make it. The person standing at the line just is like, thank you.
Right, like I served that up very nicely to you.
Did you enjoy that? Yeah, so getting the height on it, I think it's a good thing to drill. And if you can drill that with a bag of balls, with somebody who's just dinking with you, and then you're trying to just hit it over their head but still land it in, there's a little bit of technique to that. It's a touch thing for sure. Again, back to my golf roots, it reminds me of just like a little lob shot. That's what they call it in golf as well, as a lob. Hitting that little 60-degree wedge just right over their outstretched arms, and it's not just their height of 5 to 6 feet tall, it's their extended height, even with a little bit of a vertical jump. So I mean, you got to hit that thing probably 8 feet in the air over them. So anything else that you want to add there? I
mean, not specifically on those are good.
The one other thing I would say more for advanced players is if you have the ability to put some top spin on the ball, that can be a great
that can keep it in.
Absolutely, because that ball's going to then go over, and that topspin's going to make the ball dive down then.
Yeah.
So not something that we'd tell beginners to do.
No.
But if you have the ability to put topspin on it, I've even been playing around, I told you, with a different grip.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I go to that different grip, I feel like if I can get the height on the ball, that really puts some topspin on it.
Yeah. And I've seen people even do some crazy spins on their lobs.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Yeah. And I like that for more of when I'm in like the transition zone.
And they're at the line.
They're at the line.
Yeah.
Because I've got a little bit more room to put some of that whip on, to do that from a dinking position, to get the ball up quickly and then dip down. I mean, you'd have to have generate a lot of topspin, which is not a strength of mine for sure. Good stuff. Yeah. I want to go out and
lob.
Yeah. I'm going to work on my lobs next time I play.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Are you playing tonight?
Tonight. Look out.
Good. Watch out, everybody.
Nobody will hear this until afterwards. So, haha, I got you. I told you.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah. Probably horribly.
Matt's working on his lobs.
Yeah, when I come home with a welt on my forehead, you'll know why. All right, let's end with things we love. We talked a lot in the beginning, so what do you want to pick something out from that, or is there something else you're loving? You loving my pink shirt?
I am.
I know this is one of your favorites. It's very springy.
It is. And you have 5 daughters.
And I have 5 daughters, so pink. Real men wear pink.
Yep. I mean, I think we both can just say spring break, yes?
Yes. Yeah. I'll take something specific.
Okay.
So maybe you can give me something that's, and I tell people this a lot, but one of my favorite parts of spring break.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you do. It's the drive
driving
down.
through Atlanta at 2 a.m.
Yeah, well, that specifically, but even just the drive down in general.
Yeah.
Because it's a peaceful, our van is typically not a peaceful place.
It is sure not.
So when you take something that is chaos and for 8 hours it is silent and it's just me and the road and my energy drink.
You know, the girls and I could fly and you can have a quiet van the whole way down.
I don't think it would be the same. It's the fact that
I'm
all
just
of this
offering.
noise, it's like a quiet volcano. You can just enjoy that has not erupted.
It will explode soon.
It will, because by the time we hit Cracker Barrel in Florida, it's exploding. So yeah, I do love the ride down, and being there is just the sandy beaches of Siesta Key.
Ready to go get some coffee and walk the beach in the morning and play some pickleball.
We'll probably play some pickleball.
Probably.
Yeah, I put some feelers out. So
I'm sure you have. Last year, Matt met a man in a gas station.
I did.
And invited him to play pickleball.
I did. And he and his wife were pretty solid. They gave us
a decent game.
But
Matt saw this man wearing a pickleball shirt and was like,
Actually, it wasn't even a pickleball shirt. It was a tennis shirt. I was like, close enough. He's like,
hey, do you play pickleball?
I actually thought it was a pickleball shirt. I said, is that a pickleball shirt? He's like, no, it's tennis, but I play pickleball.
Oh.
I'm like, good. So we've got Duper now that I actually messaged several people on Duper. Yeah.
You are hysterical.
But here's the problem. I messaged you as well, and you haven't responded. So I don't know who checks or if you get a notification.
Is it on the app?
See, I don't know if you got like an email notification or what.
I did not.
Okay.
I should check my Duper.
So I might have to go the Facebook route. I've done that before too.
Yeah, we found courts last year.
Stalk people, and there's some new courts. I'm very excited about that. So wind is always a factor in Florida. I feel like because
Florida's a windy.
Last year we played and it super windy. So the girls are another year older. I think we're to the point where we could leave them in the condo for a little while and go play.
I think so.
We'll talk about
Let's do it.
We'll find a babysitter. There's got to be some babysitters around there too.
You can use the remote and turn one of them on and meeting the TV.
Oh, that's your babysitter.
Yeah.
Anything else you love? Just sticking with Florida?
Florida. I'm ready.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's go right now.
Okay.
All right. We're out of here. All right. Thanks for listening. One last thing.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Yes.
We've mentioned it. Be on the lookout. We're coming out with 3-ish designs.
Yep. Really fun ones.
That we're going to have some fun with. Be a great way to support the show and show off. One of them is even going to be a One More Game.
It sure will be.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for those. All right. Have a great day. See you next time. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.